I'm a little bummed that we missed a week for no particular reason. But
Other than we're just busy/lazy.
yeah, but
I'm not gonna lie, we're a little bit lazy.
we're a little bit lazy. We are both sitting on separate couches, both wearing dressing gowns, in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it's about midday.
It's about midday.
Kind of explains our personalities.
Yeah,
I kind of knew when we moved in together, this would become a pajama podcast.
it would definitely become a pajama podcast. Well, it already was, but now it's in the same room.
Yeah, true.
Mm. But because we missed a week, there's a whole bunch of news.
Yeah.
And of course there was some bloody convention. Bloody
Yeah.
E3 happened. So
It's our annual E3 episode. You all know we like to have a one big video game episode every year. We just talk all about everything that happened at E3. So it's going to be an extra long episode, most likely.
oh yes.
Yeah, like I'm just assuming, because every other E3 episode has been.
Mm. Oh, and Brett. Welcome to the PCMR podcast, where we talk about movies, TV shows, video games, and
I don't know
other
why I
things that
thought
don't
it would
really
be
matter.
Anything but that.
Because nothing matters. We're all going to die one day. I am your
Hey.
host, as always, Aiden Munga, and I'm joined by my forever co-host, Brett Page.
Yes, hello, I am the co-host.
Even though you do most of the work on this podcast, I have claimed the title. I've delegated to you, which makes me the better leader. Can't argue with the facts. Folder on table. Welcome to the Aiden Show.
It's okay, guys. I'll keep letting him believe he's in charge.
I had my fist raised in the air. I realized this is a podcast. It's not a visual medium.
This is an audio platform.
It was a visual joke for your ears.
PCMR podcast. Visual jokes for your ears.
Exactly. We have a lot to talk about this week. Marvel couldn't just let Wonder Woman have her day in the sun. They couldn't just let her have all the glory.
They were
They've-
all like, hey, you're like a strong female superhero? How about a strong black superhero?
Bam, Black Panther trailer. And then we have some sad news about a certain actor dying. We'll get to that
Yeah.
in a bit. Actually, do you want to get sad news out of the way
Let's
first?
get sad news out of the way first.
All right, we'll get
We're
sad
gonna-
news
we're
out of the
gonna
way
be a
first.
happy episode about all some great
Then
video
we'll have
games.
Black Panther, and then we'll have E3, plus a little theoretical discussion about a certain mummy movie.
Yes, a certain mummy movie.
Yeah. So let's start off with some sad news, because that's where you got to
Yes.
start. Unfortunately,
Adam West, TV's Batman.
and Mayor on Family Guy has passed away, the age of 88. So, which is it's not a terrible age to go at,
Yeah,
but it's still sad.
It's
Yeah.
it's always sad when a great artist dies.
And one of the few good things about when like a big celebrity dies is that you get to hear about all these little stories that maybe you haven't heard
Yeah.
over the years. All these backstories come
Yeah,
out, like,
and sometimes people will come out of the woodwork like, hey, here's this one time I met him in person. It was just a really cool, nice, sweet story.
so one of the best ones I heard was that apparently Adam West and the actor who plays the Riddler got kicked out of an orgy because they wouldn't break character.
Okay.
And it warms the cockles of my heart, and it makes me go, you know what, Adam West, you were one of the best Batman.
He was.
Mm.
He really was the greatest detective in the world.
He liked to think of himself as the bright knight as opposed to the dark knight, because he was, he had the bat dance, he had them little bat moves,
Yeah.
and I think he also, like, one of the things he tried to claim to fame a lot was that all these other Batmen, they're in their rubber suits, they're in their muscle padded suits like Ben Affleck is. Adam West, pure West.
Pure West.
No muscle suit,
Nah.
just
all him.
pure Egyptian cotton and West.
Egyptian Cotton and West.
Mm.
We should start like a clothing brand called Egyptian Cotton and West.
Mm.
Trademark.
But yeah, rest easy, Bright Knight. You were
You
one of the
were
best.
the most fun Batman.
You were definitely one of the most fun. Up there with the Lego Batman.
Up there, oh yeah, up there with the Lego Batman.
Mm.
So yeah, sad news aside.
Oh boy, this Black Panther trailer. Oh my god.
I
like-
think you said it perfectly to me when I think we were driving to the shops,
Mm.
and you said, "Oh, this trailer was made for Aiden."
It really was. Like, it was a weird thing because I was watching it and I was like, for so long I've been like, oh yeah, diversity, it's important, but there's another part of me that's like, I don't know, I've always just been able to relate to all these characters fine without them looking like me. It's fine. But then watching this, oh my god, I was like, oh yeah, no, representation and diversity
Yeah.
definitely matters. This is amazing. Oh my god, Lupita Nyong'o is a superhero. All these black people are superheroes. They're having a good time. Ah,
I feel like just
so good.
every black actor,
Mm.
just every black actor was allowed in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you could have shown up on the set and been like, hi, I'm here for the movie. You're like, what were you cast? No, just here for the movie.
Here for the movie.
Well, get on set, buddy. That's how I imagine it would be. Just a black person shows up, get on set, buddy.
Get on set, buddy. You're a citizen of Wakanda now.
Yeah.
But I think like pretty much every like the only black actors I could think like weren't in this were like Denzel and John Boyega. But they've got work. They're working.
They're busy.
They're busy. You like if you were a black actor and you weren't busy being like a John Boyega on Star Wars or a Denzel Washington being Denzel Washington,
Yeah.
man, I'd feel bummed for you because everybody got work in this movie.
Better say, what other black actors? Morgan Freeman, is he in it?
Morgan Freeman's not in it, but I don't think he's busy. He's in the
Busy.
same category. It's like
Oh, yeah. He's always
either you're
got work.
busy, you're already in the Marvel universe because you're Samuel L. Jackson, or you're
Michael B. Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, you're Michael B. Jordan.
No, he's in the movie. I'm trying to think of like.
Is he?
Yeah, he was. He's Killmonger. Michael B. Jordan's in this movie. Once again, Marvel has saved. What's his name? A Human Torch and brought him back into the fold.
Oh, there we go.
He was Killmonger. He was the villain in the whole trailer.
I don't know.
He had the emo dreads. the fringe.
Oh, yeah.
The dread fringe.
He looked different. Maybe because he had dreads. I'm used to him having like no hair.
Yeah, he had a dread fringe. It was looking real suave. I'd
Who
say.
who else? Who else wasn't in it? This is a game of who wasn't in the trailer.
I'm trying to remember who's the actor who plays Falcon. Sam Wilson. I remember the character's name.
Sam Wilson.
I'm forgetting the name of the actor, and it's really bumming me out. But anyway, yeah, that's like either they're already in the Marvel universe as playing someone,
Yeah,
or they're. I feel bummed if you didn't get cast in this movie because this looks like Angela Bassett playing.
I like Angela Bassett. She's often very good in American Horror Story.
Playing T'Challa's I think stepmother, looking like Storm in this trailer. Ooh, this looks so good. So I don't know, like where do I begin with this trailer? I like how it starts off with Andy Serkis in chains. Seeing a white South African in chains, good start. You have my attention.
Hey! Apartheid is over with. Equality.
Yes, if you were born after apartheid. But apartheid ended in the 90s. So if you're a 40-year-old white South African, you're probably a piece of shit.
I disagree. Not all. No. Not
all-
all of them.
Not all of them.
So I say this.
But you probably did some shady shit. So
No, I say this because my mum was sort of dating a white South African around the same age as her, like in the 50s. So he was a nice guy.
to you. Yeah, didn't think about that, did you? Anyway, that's beside the point.
Beside the point.
Then we get it's bloody Martin Freeman as Everett Ross. We've got a bit of Bilbo and Gollum action going on.
Bilbo and Gollum, it's like a big old Lord of the Rings reunion.
So you got me with the bit of the old Lord of the Rings reference. Nice. And then what do you know about Wakanda? It's third world country, sheep and stuff. Like it's all a front. It's actually one of the greatest motherfucking civilizations of all time. And then you got me like, secrets. Secrets are another thing I enjoy.
it's a secretive country.
And then you get to see one of the fucking most badass action scenes, Black Panther kicking the shit out of a bunch of dudes, and then some
Yeah.
run of jewels. And at that point, it's just like, well, shit. Here's all of my money. I'm ready.
Yeah. So
Take
from what
me
I've
with
heard,
you.
the movie's kind of like Wakanda is made up of a bunch of tribes,
Mm.
and they're all kind of like tensions are high between the tribes, but they still do answer to the same one king.
So basically, like before T'Chaka, who was in a civil war, who
Yes.
passed away at the UN bombing, he was the king, and T'Challa was Black Panther. So he was
who
like,
was the warrior, the
but
guardian.
since his father died, he's had to take up the mantle of warrior and king. So in this movie, you have that kind of power struggle where like all these other tribes are like, well,
And
we
apparently
liked your father. We don't know about you. You
Yeah.
seem a bit brash
and
a bit
apparently
young.
some people think that he shouldn't be both.
Exactly. And then you have that where
There's
it's like,
people trying to usurp him from the throne.
that's too much responsibility. You have to pick one or the other. You can't be both. So you have these factions like fucking Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger coming in. You have M'Baku the man-ape. You have all these other tribes. That guy with the big old green lip disc, which looks entirely unpractical, but damn does he coordinate that shit well. He's coordinating his suit with his lip disc.
And there was one little shot of them in like the snow. So it said that it could be in the North or the South Pole because vibranium, because apparently it came down in a comet that landed in Wakanda, and that's why they have vibranium. But also some of it ended up on both the North and the South Pole because the magnetic field dragged off parts of that meteorite there.
All right.
So vibranium could play a big part of it, and they could have been
It's a Black Panther movie.
Oh, yeah.
Vibranium's going to play a huge part of it.
Yeah, so they could be in the North or South Pole trying to find the vibranium that's there.
Interesting. Plus, it seems like you also have... So it seems like it's going to be part political thriller, part superhero movie, and part kind of spy
Run the
movie
Jules
as
film
well.
clip.
Run the Jules film clip, yeah. I'm so excited for this. All the costumes look so good because you have the Dora Milaje, which are like his bodyguards. They're all like these strong, powerful women. Their costumes are very much based off the Maasai tribes people, so it's kind of all these beautiful like red and gold colors. It's just the whole trailer is like accentuated with this Afrofuturism kind of look.
See, I think the thing is the director, what's the director's
Ryan
name?
Coogler.
Ryan Coogler. He understands the culture. A white guy wouldn't be able to make this film. Well, he would, but he'd have to be very well versed.
You could, but it's like it's good that it's like coming from like this
and
guy.
a lot of the crew is like black African as well, aren't they?
Yeah, no. There's a lot of like there's a strong kind of an African crew behind the scenes and in front of the camera. There was a designer. I was just seeing a story on Afropunk, which is this website that I follow. They also do like a music festival. There's this designer that was like designing like these kind of African designs mixed with like Western fashion, and he was tweeting at the Black Panther Twitter account. It was like, hey, look at all this shit I can make. You should put me in your movie. And then one of his designs ended up in the movie. At the UN scene where T'Challa is giving like a speech and he's got like a sash over his suit. That's one of that guy's designs.
Very nice.
So like they're bringing in all this cool stuff. They're taking a lot of stuff.
It's really all about that African culture and trying to just extenuate its presence in our society.
It's one of those. That's what's really gonna like make this film stand out from a lot of these other Marvel movies. Is that it's not something we've seen before. Like there are parts of it that's like, oh yeah, this does feel
very
like a Marvel movie, but this like Afrofuturism kind of look is not something we've really seen in cinema, like at all, really. So this will like really like differentiate it from all these other movies, and it will just having like this strong black cast, not being cast as slaves or all this other shit. It's like strong stories about them, for them, which is so nice to see.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this movie.
Yes, it'll be a good time.
So yeah, it gets a big old thumbs up from me. Now, on the other side of the spectrum of like expanding a universe and doing it right, we have The Mummy, which we have not seen, admittedly. So we don't personally,
because we kind of don't care.
We cannot personally attest to its quality, but it's not faring too well amongst other critics.
No.
It seems to have gotten some really low scores.
I love how you kind of just put us in the same box as actual film critics.
Well,
not very well with other critics. Like, oh yes, we are such professional film critics.
We put out content. We review movies every now and then. What's the difference, honestly? Like,
we're not professionals.
None of them are professionals. No one's professional. There's no school you go to for film reviewing. They're all just failed film students who ended up reviewing shit and got a journalism degree and started reviewing stuff. No difference,
That's what
honestly.
we should do. We both have degrees we're not getting anywhere with.
We should just do journalism, because that's a fucking booming industry, isn't it? Channel 10's going into remission. Looks like it's going to cut off a bunch of its news division. Fairfax was firing a bunch of people. Sure be a great time to get into journalism.
Online journalism is where the future is.
Oh, because that makes money, doesn't it?
It does.
For some people.
If we get hired by a big website.
Yeah, we'll get hired by BuzzFeed and all that intellectual property will get stolen.
Oh, fuck off. I'm not working for BuzzFeed.
Who else is hiring? Anyway, as I was saying, The Mummy. Not doing too well with other critics. I think it's got like a low, like 30%. It's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. It is not certified fresh.
No, definitely not certified fresh.
So this has thrown the whole spanner in the works for this dark universe, because unlike the last time that Universal tried to say like, oh, we're going to start the old universe with a bunch of our monsters, with Dracula Untold, they only kind of half did that one. So when they said, oh no, that's not canon anymore, we'll do something else,
Yeah.
everyone was kind of like, well, sure. It was a
Give
terrible
you another
movie.
go.
Give you another go. But now they've got a logo. They've announced cast. They've got all these people lined up. They've got bloody Javier Bardem, who's lined up to play like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is the Invisible Man. They're trying to get Angelina Jolie for Bride of Frankenstein.
God.
They want to add Phantom of the Opera and The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah, for some reason, those two, which, by the way,
They're
neither of those
mu-
two people are monsters. One is...
They're people with disabilities.
Exactly.
What does that say about
One is
the
someone
people
with a
Universal?
disability. The other is someone who has been maimed and is a sex pest who follows someone around at an opera house. These aren't
That's
monsters.
like an explain a film plot badly.
The regular people. You can't put the Phantom of the Opera next to Dracula and say, oh yeah, aren't these two formidable characters? No, one's a rapist, the other is practically Satan.
that was 100% an explain a film plot badly. Rapist follows around a woman at opera house.
Is it wrong?
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
So, yeah, I don't understand how they're going to get themselves out of this. Like, they're
Yeah.
trapped. They have to
And I
keep
don't
going.
know where they're going to go from here.
No, they have to keep going forward and say, like, well, I guess we're in this now. This is our dark universe. They've put themselves into a DC position where, like, DC...
They were in it too
have
far to
jumped.
pull
Yeah,
out.
dude, they were in it too far. They've already, like, especially after, like, Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, by that point, they're in it too far. They've got all these other films in production. They're like, fuck.
We just have to make them good.
We just have to make them good. Like, with Man of Steel, at that point, they still could have jumped ship and started again. They could have tried again.
Yeah.
But they were too deep, and it's like, fuck it, we're going to go forward with this one. We've got a Henry Cavill. He can be good. Hopefully, at times. Let's just move forward. It got like it was getting like half good reviews. It was like, that was the only one out of all these where people say like, oh, it was mixed reviews. No, it was bad reviews with a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
Man of Steel was mixed reviews. People were kind of like, I guess so. And then from there, it went kind of downhill.
Yeah. So I think my problem with Henry Cavill is that he just has no charisma.
I feel like he needs a good director. When someone directs him well, I feel like he could do it because he's got the right inflections, he's got the right look. He seems to have the right mindset for it. I think someone just needs to mold him into the right direction.
Yeah, and that person is not
Zack Snyder.
They need a director who's good with actors.
Yeah.
Because Zack Snyder is more of a set-piece type director.
He's a set-piece guy. He's real big on his visuals. That's why so much of it is slow motion, because he's like, look at how much time and energy I spent doing this one particular thing, getting this panel just right. Are the characters interesting? Sorry, what are those? No, but this panel, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, so pretty.
Yeah. Dark universe.
It's a dark universe. And even that, they're already in trouble with DC, speaking of them, because DC wanted to call their Justice League Dark movie Dark Universe. So DC, Warner Brothers, are suing Universal because of that. But Universal, they've put out The Mummy. They've put it, that's right in front front of the Mummy. Like they'll have like the Universal logo, and then it will spin around. There'll be some new theme song, I think, which is being done by Danny Elfman. Maybe I heard somewhere, and then it will be Dark Universe. Ooh. So I don't.
So it's basically a battle of who done it first.
So I don't know where they go from here. Not even if the Mummy was good. What does like a Dracula Mummy Wolfman team up movie look like in this kind of where they're coming from? Like in the past, it kind of made sense because you had the studio system, so like they have like a bunch of actors like Boris Karloff and whoever these people were who played like his monster movie people. They would all be contracted by the studio, so they could just like jump them in together. It's like, oh, Dracula and the Wolfman, oh, the Mummy and the thing from the Black Lagoon. Ooh. But now, what they're supposed to like team up and fight an even bigger threat? What's the threat? And are we supposed to be rooting for the monsters, or is it going to be a film full of like people like Tom Cruise? So it's like a bunch of like Van Helsing types who are like, oh yeah, I beat the Mummy. Well, I beat Dracula. Well, I beat the thing from the Black Lagoon. Let's all team up to have a card game. I don't know. What do they do?
Yeah,
So I'm very confused about what Universal want. I get why they want to do it because like they look at the success that like Marvel is having and like all these other people are having a universe and they're like, oh, we've got all these characters. We've got all these IPs sitting around. We should be doing something with them. Let's have a universe. I get why they want to do it. I just don't know how they do it. Or if it's worth doing. Like from an artistic point of perspective. Financially, probably. It's a pretty, like, it's a good gamble to make. But artistically, why?
Because they want money. It's not about the art anymore. It's about the money.
I guess so.
Give me that money.
Anyway, the reason it failed is because there was no Brendan Fraser. Film needed some more Brendan.
Disappeared from Hollywood.
Yeah,
I know.
He had a string of bad choices, and I think he's doing a TV show now.
I know. I saw like a Watch Mojo video pop up in my YouTube saying, "Oh, why Hollywood won't cast Brendan Fraser anymore?" And a little part of me wanted to watch it, but then the big part of me was like, "Nah, Watch Mojo can go fuck itself."
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I don't mind those top 10 listicles sometimes, but Watch Mojo are just crap. It's all so disingenuous.
So outside of all of that kind of universal what ifs, let's talk about E3.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of games.
We've got a bunch of video game stuff. We very rarely talk about video games. I feel
because video
more
game
frequently.
news kind of all just comes out at E3.
It kind of does. Like every now and then we'll get like a Red Dead Redemption trailer, or we'll talk about, oh, I just finished this game, but like we don't usually talk about a lot of it. So now it's nice to have like a big old episode.
Yeah, exactly. Like we both play video games reasonably frequently, but it's like a video game takes a while to complete. So like in a month's time, you and I could watch like 3 TV shows, like a dozen movies, one game.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Especially since you're playing The Witcher at the moment.
I just started The Witcher,
and that's a couple of months commitment, right?
Yeah.
There.
I'm at like the first crumb of like a 300-hour gameplay time, most likely.
Well, I'll see you next year then.
Yeah, this game will be me for a while. And I just bought Infamous Second Son as well because I saw it real cheap. So I've got 2 games.
I think I'm gonna have a crack at that.
Yeah, you can have it first.
All right.
Witcher.
E3. I feel like off the bat, I feel like this year wasn't as interesting.
I feel like E3 is always a bit of a letdown because you always get real hyped and it's never as good as you want it to be.
And there's all these games that you think are going to get like announced or more information about, and then you don't. So like I was really hoping for some more info about Red Dead Redemption, like
I feel like
who
Sony
the characters
might be
are,
holding
when
back.
it's set.
Because Sony have their own conference now.
Do they?
Yeah, they have like a convention in like September that they do now.
Oh, so it's probably going to be there.
That was when they first released The Last of Us 2, and they first released the Uncharted Lost Legacy at that.
Ah, was that where that came from? Okay.
So I feel like they're kind of reserving E3 a bit and trying to have their own event more.
This is like how like Marvel's kind of like pulled back from Comic-Con because they've got the Disney Expo D23
Exactly.
or whatever. Okay.
Exactly. So, like, they'll
Alright.
still be there because they know they have to, man. They'll still make some big announcements. But I feel like they want to at least split it 50-50 for E3 in their own convention.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's
So
Sony, at least.
mm,
Which is, let's be honest, what you and I care about most.
yeah. We try and like have like a objective perspective about these other things. Like I guess that would be fun for other people.
I like the third party ones, like Bethesda and Ubisoft, because most of the stuff they do is for PlayStation. But Microsoft, Nintendo's like, I don't have your consoles. So.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited about. It's like hearing about someone going on a holiday. You're like, I guess you're probably gonna have fun.
Yeah, like
I'm not going on holiday, so I don't know.
Good
Yeah.
Anyway, we've made a little list of just a couple
Got
of trailers.
a little list.
By little list, I mean a big list. And I've kind of made it in order of when the conferences were.
Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about. Let's start with EA, that was the first conference.
Yeah, that was the first one. I think they're always first. A lot of sports.
There's a lot of sports stuff, which
we don't care.
I'm just gonna say that everyone else is probably saying, it probably looks slightly better. The graphics are slightly more realistic. The game engine is probably slightly more powerful, and the players move slightly better. Sport games.
Yeah. I think
2K18, whatever.
I think they did the new NBA one, and I think there was a new Madden, and I think there was a new fucking FIFA.
So like FIFA 18, Madden 18, NBA 2K18 or something.
I think so.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, sure.
We didn't watch the trailers; they were just announced. So if any,
do you need to?
Yeah,
Do
I mean, like, hey, we're not shaming you. If any of you out there like those kind of games, good for you. We're glad you have a good time with them, but we don't.
Anyone who's having a good time that doesn't involve hurting other people, you keep at it, buddy.
You keep at it.
But yeah, not for us.
Yeah. So they also announced a new IP called A Way Out.
I did not watch the trailer for this.
I did.
Give me the pitch.
Did you ever hear of that game called like Brothers? A Tale of Two?
Oh, is this the prison one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's a co-op game, and it's basically two guys escaping prison. And it seems very story-based.
All right.
And very, like, a bit puzzly as well, because you kind of have to work together to get out.
That's surprising, because this is probably one of the few things that I heard about. I didn't watch the trailer for, but I was like, okay, that's an interesting IP. I can see how,
it's an interesting IP.
That's a new, thing that should be explored. It's interesting, because a lot of these new IP ideas
not as good as others.
Not as good as others.
Not as good as they could, maybe should be.
Or not as interesting, or reaching out into some kind of new area as much as maybe in previous years. So let's talk a little bit about Anthem, which I'm sure it's probably a really fun game, and some of the mechanics do look pretty interesting.
It was first announced at the EA conference. Then they showed a bigger trailer at the Microsoft conference, so it must had some sort of deal with it.
Yeah. None of it looks very original.
It looked very Destiny to me in both the way they marketed it and a lot of
it looks like
gameplay.
Destiny meets Star Wars meets Halo meets all these other kind of sci-fi tropes. None of it was oh yeah, this is nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
This was everything I've seen before.
Yeah, they had some Iron Man type suits.
Yeah, they've all got Iron Man suits. It seems to be a multiplayer online co-op
big
kind
online
of thing.
world where you can just go around and just. It looks big. It looks like a big, well-designed world. And sure, the gameplay looks fun. And I feel like I'm gonna keep an eye on this as more trailers and stuff come out. I'm decide if
basically
going to
be completely on the fence about it until it comes out and everyone says it's great, and then maybe I'll be like, okay, I guess I'll have a crack at it then. But
I think you mean I'll have a crack at it once Brett buys it.
You'd be correct, sir.
Because that's how this house goes. I buy a game, Aiden plays it next.
I am planning on getting stuff later in the year. I want to get Red Dead Redemption and stuff.
You can pay for that, and I might play it after you.
Yeah. It's just a lot of things at the moment don't look interesting to me.
Well, there's The Last of Us 2 is coming out as well, and Uncharted The Lost Legacy.
See, those are the other things that I'm thinking, okay, I'll pay money for those. But no, this it doesn't look like there's no really new ideas here that like excite me. It's just kind of like, oh, cool. It's a Halo Destiny whatever thing.
Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
There's nothing wrong with it,
nothing's
like,
original anymore.
None of the
so-
mechanics looked like bad. Like it all looked like a really like a well-crafted world
Yeah.
full of ideas that everyone else has already had.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah, it
problem
just
I
didn't
really
seem
have with it.
super exciting. But yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
We'll see how it goes. And there was a
Alright.
new Battlefront 2 trailer.
New Battlefront 2 trailer. So this is the sequel to the multiplayer game that EA released last year, which it looks, like they've added like more maps and stuff, and like it's going to cover more of the prequel trilogy, so you get to play as droidicars and droids and stuff. That's cool, I guess. It didn't show a lot of the story trailer for like the single player campaign, which is the part of the game that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Which is
Same.
something like it'd be a reason for me to get Battlefront 2 would be to play a single player storyline, because multiplayer is brutal and I suck at video games.
Yeah.
So like, but it'll looked like good. It'll look like, oh yeah, that's Star Wars. That looks like a Star Wars.
It will still never be as good as the original Star Wars Battlefront 2. Because the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PS4 is probably still in my top 10 list of my favorite games of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, you said PS4.
Did I? What is it? Oh, PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the one of the PS2, one of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
Mm.
Because it was a great game, and I played it so much. I kind of want to play it again.
They'll probably do like a arcade store thing or whatever.
Oh yeah, like they do
PlayStation
with
Store.
the Marvel's Ultimate Alliance one, where you can just buy the games as is on the PlayStation Store.
They'd probably do something like that.
That would be a good time.
Actually, no, that's something that like has like a lot of servers and stuff. They wouldn't. Nah, maybe not. Maybe if EA would like give them like the server space, like, hey, give us like some server space so we can host a bunch of like online matches for this PS2 game, and they'd be like,
I don't
No.
think they need the online matches, because I think it was a mainly single player game.
but there was like also like multiplayer kind of maps and stuff in the game.
I never. Did PS2 have online capacity?
It had online capacity.
I did
yeah.
not know that.
Yeah, it was It wasn't like as prevalent as like the PS3, Xbox 360 generation onwards, but it was there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And I had one for many, many, many years. I still have one.
that's because you don't have friends, Brett. Though.
Oh.
Oh. Anyway.
Okay, well, that was EA.
Microsoft. So I've watched a little bit here and there of the Microsoft.
Okay, I watched all of it. It was very long.
It did seem long. So Xbox One X. This is their.
So they have the One X and they have the One S. And I saw a tweet that perfectly encapsulated my feelings about this. I can just imagine come Christmas time, the amount of mothers just exasperated, just like, oh, which one did my shitty little kid want? The One S or the One X? What, you want the One S? The One X?
Oh, these little kids with their fucking lisps are just gonna ruin a bunch of poor mothers. Just
Yeah,
standing there
those
like,
poor mothers. Like, oh, which one does my
which
brat
one
of a
was
kid
it?
want?
Oh, fuck. It
What,
was
you want the One X?
the One X?
X?
Yeah, the One X.
One
Oh,
One
what?
X?
Yeah. But so this is their kind of response to the PS4 Pro. This is Project Scorpio, which we've been hearing about.
Basically,
a while.
Project Scorpio is the
Which I
graphics
think
card within the
Xbox
One
Scorpio was a much better name than Xbox One X, because then you're gonna have like, oh, it's my Xbox One X in a box, so it's an Xbox One Xbox. Fuck. Oh, awful. Too much.
X. Too much. Scorpio would have been a better name.
Scorpios. It's a bold, like definitive kind of. Ooh,
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So, you know,
Xbox One X.
see, last year when they announced Scorpio,
Mm.
I don't think I really understood what it was. Like, is
Mm.
this a new console? Is this like an upgrade of the Xbox One? But it's an upgrade of the
It's
Xbox
a
One.
PS4 Pro.
It's
Which
just
a
better
lot of
graphics.
these like games is talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna be moving into like 4K and all that stuff, which is like good if you have a 4K TV.
Yeah, if you have like a fucking grand to
Mm.
spend on like a 20-inch 4K TV.
Yeah, like if you have a really good like a 4K TV, then you'll probably want to get one of these new
Yeah,
like
'cause why would you-
PS4 Pro Xbox One X.
If you
whatever.
have the money
Mm.
for a 4K TV, you have the money for an Xbox One X.
But if you just got like a regular HD TV, you're
don't.
fine. You're fine. Like it looks good enough.
Yeah,
It runs smooth enough.
Look, well, this
It's
PS4
fine.
I have
Mm.
is one of, I got it in 2014, which was like
Mm.
a year after they released, I think.
Mm.
Was it 2014 or was it 2015? I don't fucking remember. It was a long time ago.
But you got it a year after they released. That's fine.
Yeah, see, and you have like one of the new look ones now that kind of have the slimmed, curved corners, don't you?
It's like a PS4 Slim. It's fine. It runs fine.
Yeah. So yours and mine are pretty much the exact same, other than the look of the consoles.
Yeah, mine's like a little bit smaller, but that's about it.
Yeah. Says a lot about you and me. Yours is a little bit smaller.
I don't think that says anything about us. I think you're reading into facts that aren't there, friend.
I was trying to make a joke, but okay.
Yeah. Emphasis on trying and failing. Move on.
Screw you, I'm funny. Okay. And they're also introducing more backwards compatibility because...
See, that thing sounded like kind of okay to me. I don't know what the scenario would be, but like they were talking about games where like you could hook up an Xbox 360, an Xbox One, and an Xbox One X in like a LAN party, and you could all play like an original Xbox game on all of them.
Yeah, well, they're saying like you can get original... They're releasing a whole bunch of the original Xbox games for like Xbox One series.
Which it sounds like a...
Wait, I'm sorry, it's the Xbox One family, as he kept calling it throughout the conference.
Cool. That's almost as good as Drivatars. Up there with... Oh, that's... Do you remember hearing that? Awful. But no, it's... Like, it's a neat idea. Like, oh yeah, all these like consoles linking up together, playing a LAN party. Who the fuck is playing original Xbox games and having a LAN party with someone who has an Xbox fucking One X? These people aren't hanging out together.
No. Well, I get the backwards compatibility, making the original Xbox games there for the Xbox One, because, nostalgia is a thing. I like going back and playing the old games I played when I was younger. But having a LAN party with people...
I'll be honest, I don't. Like, I have no interest in ever playing the Link Ocarina of Time or whatever, because like I go back and I look at those
you never played that when you were little?
No, I never played it, so I have no nostalgia there. Like all these old...
Like if you go back and play a game that you played when you were a kid.
No, not even. Like I don't like things I remember like liking a lot. There was just like a game set in Rome where like you could cut off people's arms and like heads and stuff. I wouldn't go back and play that game because it would look like dog shit now. And all of these games, like the mechanics were like fun then, but then gaming design and gaming mechanics have come so far that I expect a different thing now. I expect there's certain fluidity of movement where like I'd go back and play it and be like, why do I feel so stiff? This isn't fun. This is just tedious. I don't have that kind of idea like, oh, I need to go back. Like
that's somewhere where we differ then, because I do enjoy going back and playing old games. Like, hey, last year you played through the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, didn't you? That was an old PS2, PS3 game.
It was an old PS3 game. But that's because I didn't have any money. Didn't have a choice. I was like, well, here's a game I...
Wait, you got that? How much did you pay for that? I thought you bought it from the PlayStation Store.
No. I had that just like just lying around.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my brother got it for me for Christmas once, and I never played all the way through it, and so I thought I'd play all the way through it.
It was a fun story.
It is a fun little story, but I think I appreciated it more as kind of like having like seen Captain America Civil War. I read some of the Civil War comics. I was like, oh yeah, I understand this more. I appreciate this more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. What else is there? Let's open our phones back up. Oh, not get out of the thing. And yes, Assassin's Creed Origins.
This did look a little bit interesting to me.
Set in Egypt?
I can't remember the last time I played an Assassin's Creed game. It's been a while.
I can. Never.
Oh,
Never played an Assassin's Creed game.
Have you played Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah.
That's a funner version of an Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, there you go.
So if you've played that, you've basically played the mechanics of an Assassin's Creed game.
You haven't played Shadow of Mordor. So
I haven't played Shadow of Mordor, though. But
fun.
I've played...
You need to.
Assassin's Creed, and I think Assassin's Creed 2. Oh, okay, so it's been a while. Well, so like the first two,
The first two.
and then after that, no,
Well,
I
apparently
didn't play
after
free.
that it's crap.
Didn't play free. Didn't play
Wait,
4.
Free's the pirate one, isn't it?
Free's 4's the pirate one. Free's the one set in like the American Revolution.
Okay.
4's
Well, I've heard the
one.
pirate one's real good. That everything after that is poop.
I do remember like seeing a bit of a friend Jesse playing the pirate one, and he had the soundtrack, which was like a bunch of pirate shanties, which we would sing before we would go to karaoke because they were very infectious and quite enjoyable. So I will give that to Black Flag. I think it's the 4th one.
Yeah, Black Flag.
I will give that to Black Flag. Pirate shanties are great. I love them. Give me more of that.
Love me a good shanty.
So yeah, I didn't play that. Didn't play Syndicate. Didn't play whatever the one set in Paris was. So, but this one, it does kind of look a little bit interesting to me, just because like the Egyptian setting is so different to everything we've seen so far.
Oh yeah, I like a good Egyptian setting.
And I like the idea of like going back and like finding out the kind of starting at the start for all this assassin stuff. So it's like it seems like a good jumping on point, as opposed to all these other games where it's like there's this half expected, oh, you're supposed to know about all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But doing like a soft reboot kind of, here's the start like of like all these weird and fantastical bullshit things. It's like, okay.
It feels like could be a good jumping in point for the series to someone like me who's never played it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what a lot of companies are trying to do now, because I feel like, I know that this console generation, especially in the PlayStation, is moving many more units this early on than the last generation. Like, they're expecting the PS4 to completely outsell the PS3 within another year.
Which means there'll be a lot of people who have not previously owned a PS3 and not previously played some of these games. So
yeah, well, they already
a good time.
But like, they released some percentage, like apparently something like 30% of current PS4 owners never owned a PS3. I think it might be more than that. I don't remember exactly, but it's like some like surprisingly high number, and that's why we keep seeing remasters, because like these are classic games that were fantastic on the PS3. So let's bring them here for all these people who may have never played it before. Like me, I never had a PS3. I've gone into the reasons of that before. I won't again.
All right. So Assassin's Creed Origins. We're set in Egypt. It's nice. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty.
Looks pretty.
Main character is looks a bit different to previous Assassins. They've incorporated.
Yeah, he looks like a big bulky guy.
We've got an eagle now.
An eagle,
which we can use kind of like a drone to like scour an area.
Scout the area, yeah.
So it seems like they're introducing a couple of new mechanics and ideas. I'm just hoping like if the story is good enough and like the climbing mechanics have improved for this game, that like it can be a bit more fun than just like, which I feel like a lot of the other Assassin's Creed games fell in the trap of being very repetitive. So like you go, you scour an area, you assassinate a person, rinse and repeat 20 different times.
A lot of games fall into that trap.
So I feel like maybe a good direction for these games to go in would to be maybe add big cinematic events, which I feel like is what a lot of people are doing, but it's like it's a good way to break up that kind of monotony of seeing the same assassin scour area assassinate thing over and over and over again. You need to find a way to kind of break things up a bit. That's what Black Flag kind of like was praised for. It's like, well, you got all this ship fighting stuff. So you had all these piratey elements. That's an entirely new mechanic that we haven't really had in the past. I think there was a little bit of it in 3, but they really expanded on it in 4. So definitely lean into that. Lean into all these weird little side quests and mini games and things that are like unique to the world. Like, what if you're set in Egypt? Take full advantage of that.
What Egyptian-y things can you include to make the game
I think
more
they've
fun?
got like a gladiator stadium, so there's going to be like gladiator fights, which is like, lean into that. All of like the weird little things are like, what can we do in this era that we couldn't do in a previous era? Pump that shit right up and make that like the thing that makes your game stand out from previous entries.
Yeah.
But that's just the obvious answer. I don't know if this game will do that.
Yeah. Well, it looked interesting. I like the look of it.
Yeah.
Definitely going to keep an eye on this.
Speaking of Shadow of Mordor and Assassin's Creed, Shadow of War released a bunch of new footage. This already is like a game I'm like, oh, I want to play this.
Yeah, I'm getting this.
Yeah.
I played the first one. It was great. I'm getting this.
Like, I don't know what much else to say besides like, oh yeah, this all looks very interesting and cool.
There was the trailer with Bruce.
Oh yeah, the old ogre fella.
Yeah, voiced by Barry Humphries. It sounded like, at least.
Wow.
Well, I heard the voice and like that
Mm.
is 100% the voice of the shark from Finding Nemo.
That's Jeffrey Rush then, isn't it?
Really, I looked it up and it said it was Barry Humphries. I think.
I thought it was Jeffrey. No, Jeffrey Rush was what's his name? The what's it? Pelican. Jeffrey Rush is the Pelican. So maybe Barry Humphries must have been Bruce then.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up Barry Humphries' IMDb, and it doesn't say that. Oh, Trail of a Shadow of War, but why the fuck would it say that?
Mm.
So I'm like, like almost 100% sure.
But there's a lot of people out there who have their kind of, oh, I'm a gruff voice. Just a gruff, hello, mate. Oh, I'm a gruff voice. There's a lot of people with that voice.
True, but it still sounded exactly like Bruce from Finding Nemo to me, which, considering his name is Bruce in this too, is like.
All right, so do you want to say, did Microsoft have a good conference? Did they have a good time?
Yeah,
I guess so. They released new hardware. They had.
There was a bunch of more trailers other than this as well. These were kind of just the big ones. But yeah, I think it was good. There was some original content in this, and I was like, you know what? I'm a little bit jealous of that. A little bit jealous when we come on a PlayStation.
If I could be bothered to drop money on a new kind of expensive console, I might do one for an Xbox One X. But I don't, and I don't want to, and I don't care enough. So
yeah, I feel like the next console I'm gonna get would be a Switch. I'm not getting an Xbox. I'll get a Nintendo Switch before I'll get an Xbox.
Fair enough. All right. Speaking of things available, Bethesda had their conference next. They released a new thing for Skyrim for Switch. You can dress up like Link.
Yeah, you get one of the amiibo things, which is a fucking pathetic money grab, if you ask me. Selling figurines to play in your games, money grab. But at the same time, pretty cool. You can play as Link.
It is pretty cool to have the Master Sword in Skyrim. They also released like Doom and Fallout. I think Skyrim VR is all announced as well.
And it looked like it would get really tiring after a bit. Because like the bow and arrow, you're actually using the Joy-Con controllers with your hands to just like actually stretch out and do the actions. And the sword, you're actually swinging it around. Which at first you'd be like, oh my god, it's so fun, I'm in Skyrim. But then it's like, no, you would get tired.
True, you would. I think the one that, like, out of all of those, to me, that would seem like be the one that you'd put down the fastest would be Doom. Because I feel like Fallout and Skyrim, you can, like, spend a lot of time. There's a lot of quiet moments. You can just wander around. You can observe the scenery and be like, oh, this looks all right. This is nice.
Yeah.
Doom's a very intense game.
It's very constant.
There's this constant kind of orchestral metal music, very aggressive dubstep going on in your ears. Plus all these kind of very angry and bright and vivid visuals.
Yeah, and the enemies they don't stop.
They do not stop. So Doom would very much send you, I feel like, into like, you could play about half an hour of it at most, and then you'd have to take it off before you threw up or killed yourself.
Yeah. It's like, because you're literal hell. And it's just like, it's a lot. And I think they called it Doom VFR when they announced. I thought, like, does the F stand for fucking? Is it virtual fucking reality? I don't know what the F is for. And that's the only thing that makes sense in my mind.
The F is for extreme!
F is for extreme!
Extreme!
Someone doesn't know how to spell.
Virtual fucking reality, brah. It's extreme, dude. It's playing Doom on VR, bro.
Bethesda are college frat dudes confirmed.
Confirmed.
I will say about Bethesda though, the cool thing about their conference is it was Bethesda Land, and it was a theme park theme. They're like, oh, let's go over here and see what's happening in this part of Bethesda Land.
Did they announce any new IP? Like any new ideas that they had?
I don't think there was any new IP. I think it was
that's disappointing because there was a lot of speculation before the conference. That they were gonna like do like a new like Fallout Skyrim type thing, so like a big RPG but set in space, so like their kind of response to kind of like a Mass Effect thing, which was exciting to me. I was like, oh, that seems pretty cool. And then they didn't seem to announce that. It was just like a bunch of stuff for like VR, or you can play Skyrim on the Switch now. Or there's
Yeah.
Dishonored
There was
deals.
sequels. Yeah.
And then sequels to Evil Within and Wolfenstein, which Wolfenstein, I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. And
But you guys are starting to play Wolfenstein now.
started playing Wolfenstein, the New Order, so it's pretty fun. I don't know. It's like a lot of sequels and DLC and stuff going to other consoles or other kind of
Yeah.
ways to experience.
Well, did you actually
old
watch
content.
the trailer for the Evil Within 2?
I did. I watched a little bit of it. It looks pretty spooky.
It's delightfully fucked up.
It is pretty fucked up.
And like I've seen a half of a playthrough of the first one.
I've not seen anything from the first one.
It
I
is
don't
also
remember it.
delightfully fucked up, and it is a mind fuck as well, because you'll be somewhere and you'll think you'll know what's happening. You'll be walking, but then just everything will change around you, and you'll be in a different place.
I think
So something different happening. It's a mind fuck.
there are a bunch of horror games that came out at the same time, so I get them all confused in my mind. So I can't really remember
I think
which is which.
I think out of all the recent horror games, I think it would be one of the standouts.
Okay.
And it's been one of those games that I'll see it there for sale, and I'll be like, I should get it, but then I won't. You know those kind of games where like you kind of want to play it, but then you kind of don't want to pay $80 for it. Too many of those games that I want to play, but I don't want to pay that much for.
True.
So I wait until I can get them for like $25, like I just did for The Witcher and I just did for Infamous.
So I'm going to call the Bethesda conference disappointing. I'll say it. There are a couple of things there that's like, oh, that's kind of interesting, but mostly disappointing.
Yeah, I don't know, but kind of cool.
Disappointing to me. Ubisoft. So they're doing a crossover with Mario with
And
their
Rabbids?
Rabbids. I don't know how it's like.
Rabbits.
It's like a D.
Is it?
I think there's like a D and it's like Rabbids, because they're like rabid like rabies, but they're also rabbits.
I've never played that game. I know it
No.
exists, but I have no idea what the gameplay is like or what anything it is like. I just
have no
know
idea.
that I've seen those things before.
But I guess it's crossing over with Mario now, which
Yeah, and a lot of people saying it
Cool.
looked very similar to XCOM, which is a
Mm.
game I also know nothing about.
Mm.
I feel like when XCOM released, all of a sudden out of nowhere it was a big deal and everyone was talking about it like, I've never heard of this series before.
It's probably one of those like PC games.
Yeah, I think it was one of that,
Yeah.
more of a PC thing.
And then all of a sudden it's on consoles, and you have a bunch of casuals like you and me going, "So
Oh.
what?
Well, now,
What's this?"
what's this? Yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, Mario Rabbids seems
It
fun
seems
if
to
that's
be
your
a thing. Yeah.
It's fun if that's your thing. Now, Transference, this was interesting to
I didn't
me.
watch the trailer for this. I'm gonna be honest. You have to tell me what it is.
Elijah Wood,
Yes.
he's like, it says that he's like the executive producer of this video game company, but I'm like, I don't believe
Okay,
that.
so is he in the game?
I think he is,
All right.
and it's
Got
kind
me
of
back
like,
on board. You threw me for a loop there. It's like
yeah, it introduces him like
I don't care where Elijah Wood's investing his money. Is he in the game?
It's very mind fucky
Okay.
because it's a VR game, so we probably won't play.
All
it.
right. So you throw me off the train
And
again.
they're saying like, oh, they have found a way to transfer our consciousness into computers, and it's like, and it's like transferring you into this thing is like
Mhm.
everything you see is not real. It can't hurt you. And it's very, I can't explain it. It's fucking
Alright,
weird.
So it's
It's something about transferring your consciousness into a computer, and basically
and it's a
they're
VR game.
they're basically
Okay.
trying to convince you that what the game is real life.
Sure.
I don't know. It's
Cool,
it's very
buddy.
trippy. Like it's
Mm.
worth a watch. It's interesting.
Mm.
It's
All right,
a little bit of
Starlink.
a mind
I don't know what this is either. Tell me what that is.
It looked like a space shooter thing. So and it looked like one of those amiibo things, and
Okay.
it looks like a big Lego thing actually that you connect to your controller. It looked like they had it on a PS4 controller at one point, where you connect it to it and you build your spaceship thing out of the Lego type things they give you, and that shit that you build physically, it comes into the game where you go, like you can land on planets and you're shooting big ice monsters.
I get the idea behind all these games, like having like here's like a physical thing you buy and you build it. It's like trying to connect that like childhood experience of playing with toys to this new generation of like, well, people don't know how to imagine anymore, so we'll do all the imagining for you. You just buy our toys. I don't want to spend that much money just buying all this crap just to make a game playable, you know?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's a money grab. It's saying, hey,
Mm.
you have to pay for all of this to play the game.
No,
So I'm like,
not for me.
it looked fun. Like, if that's your thing,
If that's your
I'm
thing.
not gonna pay for this though.
Far Cry 5. We've seen like a couple of trailers. We've talked a little
Yeah,
bit
this
about
was a little bit of gameplay this time.
So I think our theory before we saw more about the game was that you got to play as 3 different characters. That's why they had these 3 trailers.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's not how it's going to be. You're going to be playing this one guy,
And you get to guns for hire.
guns fire,
Hire
and these are the
mercenaries.
3 different people, which are like the
Yeah.
bartender,
So you have your
lady,
the sniper. You have death from above. The guy in the
Mm.
plane. You have a doggo.
a doggo. I think his name was like Chomper or Plumber or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Stamper, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And I think they said you can do like local co-op playthrough of it.
Okay.
Which I'm like, it shouldn't be a big deal, but I'm like, I like the idea of that because I like the idea of sitting down with a friend and playing a video game together like that. Because they don't fucking make games like that anymore.
Especially if it's like it could be like a LAN thing, so that we could do it.
Well, even if we just sit on the couch here and just co-op play a game together.
That would be pretty good. That would be nice. That's not something you can really do anymore.
It's fun to do that. It's fun to
It
have
is
that.
fun. It is fun. So it looks pretty good. I think people are still a bit kind of upsetty over their spaghetti about it being set in America and having like these kind of right-wing Christian kind of
Yeah, it's a cult pretty much
a
taking
cult,
over a
yeah.
town and murdering anyone who doesn't want to join the cult.
But I was listening to like the developers talking about like why they chose Montana and like how they kind of crafted the cult, and it did seem like they'd put some thought into it, and it did seem kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And the game mechanics look like pretty good. Like they've taken like some of the lessons they learnt from Far Cry Primal, which for the most part was not good, but they did make a couple of really good choices in that. That are like, okay, well, we'll bring that into our next game. So that's kind of why I like that they did something like Far Cry Primal, which is just like a weird venture. Is like, well, let's chuck a bunch of ideas at the wall, and then the ones that work we'll keep. And we'll
Yeah,
bring
and
it
it's
into the
not
next one.
really a part of the main Far Cry series.
No, it was just like a thing they threw out
It
there.
was a Fallout New Vegas type thing, not really a part of the main series.
Well, there isn't really a continuity to worry about within these games.
True.
It's more like a continuity of gameplay mechanics.
True.
Like, you're not following the same characters. You're not following the same story. You don't really hear them being referenced in other games. You're not worrying about, oh, did you hear about that guy who went on an island and broed out real hard?
Broed out hard.
What about that guy in Nepal who broed out real hard over there? Well, what about this guy in caveman times who broed out real hard?
Is this series all about just guys broing out real hard?
Yeah, you bro out real hard. There's hang gliders. You get to shoot a tiger. You're broing out real hard.
It's like the broy game.
Yeah, it can be fun.
Oh, so have you played any of them? Or?
I've played a little bit of Free
There you go.
and-
I've played 0 of them.
and a little bit of Blood Dragon, which was the DLC kind of thing for Free, which was like their kind of Red Dead Undead Nightmare kind of thing.
Okay.
Where like it was like all very kind of like 80s, and there were like laser dragons, and you had like a laser gun and stuff, and you were voiced by Michael Biehn. It was pretty hilarious.
Seems a bit ridiculous. But
Yeah, it was. It was like one of my favorite. I only really played the demo, but it was one of those demos that like, this is the best demo of any game I've ever played. I played that demo like 12 times just because I was like, this is so
I
good.
remember back when the PS2 was first released, my dad and his partner had one, but we didn't. We still just had a Nintendo 64. And they had very few games. But it came with like a disc that had like half a dozen game demos on it. And for the life of me, I can't remember what this game was, but it was a big fantasy game. And I remember the demo, it was like the first hour maybe, and you went down into this cave, and you fought skeletons and shit.
Skeletons.
And it was real fun. And for the life of me, can't remember what the game it was, but I remember playing that demo so many times.
Over and over and over again.
Because
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a fun game.
All right.
Man, I want to find out what that demo is now.
So Far Cry 5, it looks like, that's the great thing about these Far Cry games, is like, if you hear one of them is good, wait for the next one, play that one, basically. So this will probably be good if you haven't played the other ones, I'm assuming. We also got a trailer for Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is a sequel to a game from like the PS2 kind of generation.
Did you ever play that?
I didn't play it, but like a lot of people are hyped about it. The trailer looks real cool.
Yeah, there was an anthropomorphic pig and monkey.
With a British accent.
Yeah, and they were doing some
great.
sort of shady black market deal, but then the monkey rips off the pig.
And then he's got like a grappling hook, and then it's certain like some kind of Indian neo-future kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're hanging out with some black lady on a rocket motorbike.
Yeah, rocket motorbike.
So
flies to some star base, and the disc is some sort of star map. They're like, "Oh, about time," and they fly off.
I have no idea what the story is, but the world looks fascinating to me.
I am so fascinated in this world.
Yeah, and if the gameplay turns out to be half as interesting as this trailer makes it look to be, then I'll be super on board for this.
And I'm feeling like, considering it's been so long since the first, they have to make this game so it's easily understandable for people like us who haven't played the first one.
Yeah, because
you have to.
A majority of the audience will be people who've never heard, because that game, it wasn't very financially successful. It was critically well received. Like people really liked it. The people who've played it have said it's good.
It was a cult hit, if you would.
So if they want this next one to be successful, they kind of have to do a soft reboot, maybe follow some different characters in the same world, explored from a different perspective at a different time.
Yeah.
And then maybe at some point in the game you meet up with these other characters and it kind of they explain it to the new characters because they're like, well, who are these people? We don't know. And then they're like, oh, well, we did this, this, and this. And that people who play the first game be like, oh, I remember that. Ugh.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us,
basically
be like,
more Easter eggs
right,
for the people
yeah.
who've played the first one.
That's the way I'd approach it.
Yes.
I want to get on this game, but I don't want to go back and play it.
Wholeheartedly agree. Now let's move into the conference that we'll probably be both excited about.
Yeah, Sony's
Sony.
conference. This is the one that I watched because...
Oh, you watched all of it?
I'm pretty sure I watched all of this one, yeah.
Oh, did you actually go watch all the trailers? Did you actually not watch the full stream?
No, I watched the full stream. So I watched the full stream because I was trying to remember if I skipped through it a bit, but no.
Well, Spider-Man was the last one, so if you didn't. So let's get right into this. First off the bat, some DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Good. That was a fun game.
It was a
I would like
fantastic
some
game.
more to play.
It is still my game of the year,
and
I played some games this year.
It's up there.
Yeah, so I hope this is like a Fallout Far Harbor type DLC where
it seems to be that way. It seems like
it might be
there's
like
a whole new
opening up
area,
a whole new map,
and there's going to be a couple of new different kind of robot monsters, which is good. And I like that in the trailer she's wearing like her like indestructible armor that she got. That like you can get.
Did you get it?
No. If you do like the side quest, and you can get it.
I did half of that side quest to get it because I didn't realize once I'd collected 4 of those things, you'd have to go out and collect another 4.
Yeah, I did it, and so I'm glad that they're kind of expecting you to have it.
Wait, so you did get the full armor?
I got the full armor, yeah. After I finished the game, so it's like I finished the main story.
I don't think you can get it till after you finish the game.
I think you can get it.
I gave up when I realized that I missed one that was right in the depths of like one of those big towers you have to go through.
Yeah, I went back to that. It was it was a little easier than I thought it would be to get back to.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's a good thing to have. Like you're basically indestructible, which I'm liking that they're showing that in the trailer, which means they expect you to have like you're like a badass by this point. Here's a challenge for a badass.
About to say, I should probably go through the effort of getting it, considering I went through the effort to get the Black Hood item in Final Fantasy 15. And to be clear, to get the Black Hood item in Final Fantasy 15, you have to finish the game, get your flying car, fly off the side of the map, try and land on a landing strip that is insanely tiny and easy to die on, find a secret dungeon that is not listed anywhere, and that secret dungeon completely changes up the gameplay mechanics, where it's not fighting anymore, it is a full platforming dungeon.
Okay. Jeez.
And you cannot save inside this dungeon. It took me 8 hours.
Wow.
And so
For
that,
a hood?
it's called a hood, but basically what it does is it automatically dodges attacks.
Oh.
Automatically dodges attacks.
Wow, that's...
I mean, like, you can still get hit by area of effect attacks,
Mm.
but like if someone comes up behind you, but if an enemy is in front of you and they swipe at you, you automatically dodge it.
Oh, wow.
I think I've seen people do it on YouTube in like an hour and a half, but it was really fucking hard platforming. Like crazy hard.
That seems like a pretty nifty game-breaking thing to have. All right.
Oh, it broke my soul getting it. But I got really addicted to Final Fantasy 15.
All right, so yeah, I'm looking forward to some DLC for that.
Yeah,
we got
back to what we were talking about.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, which is where they started with the conference. They had like that cool kind of Indian sitar
Oh yeah, which is really cool.
music, which was real neat. Like
I was just watching those guys play the music. I'm like, all they're thinking is, none of y'all give a fucking shit about our culture. Y'all making a mockery of our culture right here.
but it was such good music. So pleasant to listen to.
Are you looking forward to this game?
I am, because I like the Uncharted mechanics. Like, they're very kind of like scripted
And you
games.
know Naughty Dog is going to make a beautiful game with a good
It's going to be
story.
beautiful, and I don't mind that, like, we're not following Nathan Drake. I don't mind following some different characters in the
See,
same
I don't
world.
mind following different characters, but the one thing that holds this back just a little bit for me is just like, we could have gotten a game about a young Sully.
I'm fine to follow a couple of ladies. I think Chloe's fascinating enough. I'm sure we've had plenty of time with Sully. Give us some Chloe.
But
time.
I want a Sully in his prime. See what shit he got up to.
I like old man Sully. I don't want a Sully in his prime. Half his charm is, I'm an old man and I smoke a cigar. Ha ha!
Or maybe a Sully and Sam game. Because the end of Uncharted 4 spoilers.
I'm sure that's an idea they're floating around, but they
Yeah.
want to get that right before they do that.
well, spoilers. At the end of Uncharted 4, they're just like, oh yeah, Sully and Sam then go out on adventures together when Nathan kind of retires and becomes a reality TV star. I think he becomes like a Steve Irwin of adventuring.
Yeah, like he goes on like exploration things, so like he'd be
they
doing like
launched a TV show.
like a National Geographic type of thing.
So it was
Yeah,
David Attenborough.
like a David Attenborough meets Man vs. Wild meets Steve Irwin.
There we go.
Yeah,
But they become famous adventurers.
yeah, which cool,
Cool.
good. But I like the idea of following a Chloe and who was the one who was in Uncharted 4?
Nadine.
Nadine, yeah, she was badass.
She was bad.
I loved her, like, every fight you had with her in Uncharted 4. You basically lost, and it was basically a lot of like, well, please stop punching me in the face. And then she would just, like,
Punch you in the face.
fucking roundhouse kick you in the face.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I'll play a game as her. She looks badass.
Yeah.
So I'm down for that. That sounds like a good time. I'm a little bummed out that we didn't get any, like, Last of Us 2 info, because we were getting all of this.
I feel like they might be saving that for their own conference.
Probably.
I mentioned earlier.
And then we got Shadow of Colossus remake, which looks like it's like
A remake of Shadow of the Colossus?
yeah, what they're
That's
doing.
what it looks like.
Yeah, but what they're doing with like a Final Fantasy VII is like a top to bottom like remake of the idea, not the game mechanics. So like
Yeah, so it'll be the same story.
mm,
So, but yeah.
same story, but like they've like revamped the graphics and like probably put it onto a new engine and basically rebuilt the game from the ground up.
Yeah,
as far as
pretty
I can
much.
tell.
And the combat and stuff will probably be completely different.
Mm.
Because that's
But,
what look like they're doing in Final Fantasy 7, because it used to be like, turn-based, but it looks like it's very much going to be like 15, the first one that wasn't turn-based.
Which is probably a good decision on their
I
part.
feel like the one thing that's held me back on Final Fantasy is being turn-based.
That's what's held me
Because
back.
I love
completely.
the story of 15. I mean, yes, it had its plot holes,
Mm.
but I loved the story.
It's probably not. I think people are too quick to jump on saying it's plot holes. It's more just like a very convoluted idea.
Yeah, well, I think they've just left out parts of the story. Like, there's some things there that don't really make sense.
Mm.
And they haven't expanded on as much.
It's probably there in like the extended lore, or if you read a book in a certain tavern
Yeah.
or something.
Oh, well, they have created a bunch of extra content for Final Fantasy 15. Like, there is a 4-part anime series they made for it. There is a whole prequel movie they've made to it.
There's probably a lot of info in there.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm defending. I don't care about these Final Fantasy games, but
You should play 15.
I'm more defending the idea that like people are too quick to jump on saying something is a plot hole. Like I see that a lot of people say like, "Oh, where's this? Why didn't that happen?" It's like, okay, stop, think about it, and then like, oh, I guess what could have been this. It's like, yeah, exactly. Stop. You're too quick to jump onto the plot hole bandwagon. Sometimes things are just a little convoluted.
But Final
Does that
Fantasy
make
15
it a good storytelling? Not entirely, but it's not a plot hole.
Well, you should play Final Fantasy 15. I have it, and it's a good time.
I might. So Shadow of Colossus. I've never played Shadow of the Colossus.
Neither have I.
I keep being told.
I keep being told it's one of the best PS2 games.
Yeah, so maybe this will be a good chance for me to like see what all the fuss is about.
Yeah, maybe it will be.
Mm.
Apparently, it's real sad.
Apparently, like your horse dies or something at one point.
Yeah. Well, apparently
All
it's
right.
like all these giant colossus
Mm.
you're killing.
Mm.
They're kind of like
The last of their kind.
yeah, and
a
you're
little-
kind of just murdering them,
Mm.
and they're innocent. They really haven't done anything to provoke you, but you
Mm.
kind of have to do it to try and like save your sister or some shit like that.
Yeah, probably. So Days Gone. This is like this new kind of zombie Last of Us.
And I just
thing.
don't care.
There are a couple of interesting ideas here. Like the
Yeah.
first gameplay we saw was like this dude like walking backwards as like this kind of rivery kind of flow of zombies came after you, and that was kind of like, I guess so. But I did kind of like the idea of like you set up a trap and you can kind of direct the zombies to attack other people.
Yeah,
So there was some cool mechanics in there, but
yeah,
the
some
whole
good horde mechanics.
So like I appreciate that there's a level of detail and attention to that that seems to be interesting. But over the top of that is a bunch of, oh, look, it's generic McWhite guy. And it's generic McApocalypse. Oh, look, it's zombies again. Yeah. So those are the parts that are making me kind of go like, oh, I've seen this all already. But that's kind of a problem. These games are in development so long that trends get played out before people get to express and show their vision. So if the game is fun and genuinely fun, I will take back all my skepticism and jump on board and be like, yeah, sure, this is a real fun game. I thought it'd be a little tired and played out at first, but you know what? I had fun with it.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, but as it stands, I just don't care.
Yeah, it was kind of the same reaction I got from Anthem, where I was like, there are a couple of cool ideas here, but this isn't new.
Yeah,
This isn't like exciting. It's not like the first time you see like The Last of Us, or the first time you see a BioShock Infinite, or the first time you see a Red Dead Redemption, or the
Horizon Zero Dawn.
first time you see Horizon Zero Dawn. It's not like this something you see and you're like, cool, that's a new idea. I'm on board. Let's fucking go for it. You know, there's not enough there for me to be like super excited quite yet.
Yeah.
So Monster Hunter, was there like Nintendo DS games?
I think it was a handheld game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a handheld game that now they're doing like a big kind of platform version of it.
It looked fun.
It looks like you get to do some weird shit. I'm
I
down
like
for
doing weird shit.
Yeah.
Both real life and games.
And it seems to not take itself like super seriously. There's a lot of like little silly elements to it. Like there's a part where he sits down and he cooks a big old steak on a bone.
I think it's like a
rotisserie.
whole leg of meat.
Yeah, that looks silly. So
Yeah.
maybe it'll be fun.
Not much to say about it. Looks like you have
No.
a big sword and you're fighting dinosaurs and crap.
World War II COD looks like another
Yeah,
COD game.
It's World War II though, so yeah.
Graphics look pretty.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that. If it turns out that it's also like a fun campaign, maybe I'll get it. Maybe it'll be like a Battlefront 1 kind of thing.
Yeah. I got
Whereas-
Battlefront 1 and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be like
To
that.
a point. To a point.
Maybe it'll be enjoyable to a point.
Yeah.
God of War.
God of War.
This looks interesting to me.
It looks like they've completely reinvented the
Yeah.
gameplay.
So it looks like where previously I like this idea that they've done. Like previously you were fighting like the Greek gods. You were going through and kind of systematically killing the pantheon of Greek gods. Now it looks like you're going to do the same for Norse mythology. So you're going to be killing like Thor and Odin and Loki and stuff, which, good.
Fuck them.
No, just like, I like a pantheon of gods. I feel like if I had to, like, someone that forced me into a religion, I was like, you got to pick a religion.
Yeah.
It's like, well, give me one of those pantheons. I like a pantheon.
Give me a choice in
Mm.
my deities.
Yeah. So I like I like this kind of premise of like this guy going through and killing a bunch of a pantheon of gods. I want him to go through all the Egyptian gods. I want him to do like go to India and fight like a giant Ganesh. That'd be fucking cool, wouldn't that?
Oh, imagine if he got to Australia and he fought like the Aboriginal Dreamtime gods, the Rainbow
Ooh.
Serpent.
It'd just be like the serpent that's in this game, but more colorful.
But I think people other than Australians wouldn't really get any of it because
it
you know
wouldn't be as
we know a bit about the Aboriginal Dreamtime, but everyone else would be like, the what now?
And the landscape of Australia is it's a beautiful country. Like it doesn't have like these big
No, it's not.
It can be beautiful.
it
you ever
is
seen the
Orange and brown and dead.
The Blue Mountains are pretty. The Blue Mountains are pretty. The Nullarbor is pretty. Uluru is pretty. There are pretty parts of this country, Brett. Stop being unpatriotic.
Fuck you and your patriotism. Fucking Captain Australia over here.
Australia. But as I was saying, we don't have like how like there's all this kind of cool Viking architecture. We don't have how the Indians have like these great beautiful temples.
Well,
we
because
don't
the
have-
Aboriginals were very much, trying not to be racist, they were very much tribal life. They didn't have all these huge.
They weren't
built-
in it for the structures.
No, they weren't
They're
in the structures.
all about kind of celebrating land.
I mean, they were a thriving civilization. Don't get me
Mm.
wrong, but they were still tribal.
Weren't much for architecture.
No,
Wasn't there?
they aren't ones for architecture.
No. But not everyone is, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do you, Aboriginals.
Yeah. Anyway, as you were saying, Vikings,
Vikings,
God of War,
God of War.
looks pretty good. Looks a little bit Last of Us, a little bit Logan. There's a little bit of this element of like it's
The father.
a big old angry bearded dude with a small child helping out.
little
which-
bit.
Is a mechanic that like it's around in like these games and these movies, and I'm not entirely sick of it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe after this, I'll be like, okay, it's played out. Stop now. But at this point, I've got a fever for it. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what next?
And the gameplay looks a lot less button mashy. It looks a
Mm.
lot less top down. It's not top down. It's much
Mm.
more
Much more
down to
third
the ground,
person, yeah.
third person.
But it still looks pretty fun and pretty fluid. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty keen for this.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm
same.
down for this, and especially having like a Mjolnir type axe, which has got like frost runes or something on it. So and then he's got like a shield that he can kind of swing about. And
Yeah, jump out if you
that
will.
looks pretty cool. Dialogue seems pretty brutal. Seems like the story is going to be pretty interesting. A lot of big cinematic events, which I'm all about.
Yeah.
Big cinematic
And let me
events.
say, it is so weird
Mm.
hearing Kratos talk
Mm.
rather than scream.
Just all the time.
I feel like all
Mm.
I've heard him say is, "I'll kill you, Zeus."
But in this, it's like, boy, you must learn to kill everything because that is what we do. That's the family business.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story, Kratos is though. Like,
Mm.
Ares fucking tricks him into killing his own wife and son.
I like this. I do like this idea of kind of like a retired Kratos going to like a different pantheon and then being like, "Oh, we've heard of you. You can fuck right off."
Yeah, and I feel like it's gonna be 'cause, like in
Mm.
the first three God of Wars, it was very
Mm.
much the gods fucked with him,
Mm.
and he was out for revenge.
Mm.
But in this, it kind of feels like he might just be going there trying to get away and just live a silent life. And these Norse gods are like, "No, you can't be here."
You're a crazy person.
Yeah, and like, it's kind of like he's trying to be peaceful, and then they
Mm.
fuck with him, which could be a different point of view.
I like that point of view. I think it's going to be an interesting story. Definitely crazy and definitely visually interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
let's
I'm
get-
looking forward to that. And then finally, we got a trailer for
Spider-Man.
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 Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man can.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Looks
Looks
good.
real. Looks real good.
See, we got some gameplay.
Mm.
had the
the web swinging looks neat. I
Yeah.
like he's got a good arc
yeah.
going there.
And so it looks like
Mm.
it's not just, you press a button, you keep swinging, you just hold the button, he swings automatically. It looks like
No,
you've
no.
got to look around.
You got to
and
look
you
around.
have
You got to
to
look
find
for
the
spots.
things to swing at.
It looks like a dynamic web swinging, and also like it seems like there's gonna be like big like large scale events during like main missions where like parts of the city will get destroyed, and
Yeah.
you have to like,
They look quick
Manu-
time-ish.
which I'm kind of okay with. If it
See,
like
looks
leads to like
quick
a
time, but it's not just press this button. It looks
Mm.
like you have to press the button in time. Like you have to
Mm.
move the cursor into the thing, then press the button.
yeah, there's a little bit of
That's
that
why I
kind
like
of
quick
telltale storytelling.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
well
bit
like
in there,
quick
yeah.
time-ish.
And it's only for like these big kind of cinematic events to like, well, how else would you like
Yeah.
construct it? Like it
And
has to be a quick time
I'm
event.
feeling like it'll.
Mm.
I know they haven't really said it, but I'm feeling like it'll be like a big open world.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be.
I'm
like
feeling
a
like
big open world.
Infamous feel where you can just go around and just
They've,
side missions.
They've said that it's you get all of Manhattan and you basically have access to all of it straight away, and it's 6 times the size of what Insomniac did last time, which was Maximum Overdrive. So like that was like a big open world, and this is 6 times bigger than that.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's pretty big, and it seems like you're also going to be playing as Peter Parker throughout the game as well, not just as Spider-Man. So they're kind of very
Yeah.
integral.
Isn't
to the
Peter
story.
Parker though? Because
Yeah. No, it's the game's around Peter Parker. Miles Morales did have like a little cameo at the end of this trailer.
But I remember them
Mm.
saying that it was definitely Peter Parker.
Yeah, no, they've
Okay.
said it's definitely Peter
Okay.
Parker. He's going to be about 23 in this game.
Okay, so he's adult Peter Parker.
He's adult Peter Parker. He's graduated from college. He's been Spider-Man for a while now, so he's got it. He's got it down. He knows what he's doing.
Unlike us at 23.
Unlike us at 23.
Sitting in our downstairs lounge room in our pajamas recording a podcast for nobody.
Talking about a fictional 23-year-old who has their life together. You got this, Spider-Man. But no, I was super excited watching this trailer, especially
Yeah.
like seeing Mr. Negative. I was like, oh yes, fucking called it. The original trailer, all these bad guys, those are the demons, those are the fucking henchmen of Mr. Negative. Fuck yeah, he's in this game. I was sitting there like yelling out, go get him, Spider-Man. You got this. I'm so excited for this game.
I'm pretty excited for this game.
Mm.
It looks like a good time.
Plus, looks like we're getting some Kingpin.
Yeah,
There was an Osborn sign that got smashed
So
through.
there might be a little bit of that. The Green Goblin.
So it looks
Or
like
Green Goblin.
they've said
Jr.
they want to explore a couple of the kind of Spider-Man villains that get a little bit less attention. So like your Mr. Negatives, we're probably going to get maybe a Chameleon, probably some Kingpin as well.
Do you think some of the other Marvel characters could cross over into this?
Probably. It's set in like its own kind of universe, so Insomniac kind of has free reign to kind of do what they want with it. It'll be very Spider-Man focused, but I wouldn't rule out appearances from like other heroes or other characters.
But I say if they got Wilson Fisk in, like Kingpin's all very much a Daredevil villain as
He
well.
started off as a Spider-Man villain, and then Daredevil did like some really good runs with him.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe they could have some Daredevil up in.
I wouldn't mind some Daredevil up in this his house.
up in his house.
That would be very good. But there's talks of like Marvel trying to like create a bunch of like games like this for their characters. So I wouldn't mind if they did like what they're doing for Spider-Man for like a Daredevil
That would
or a
work.
Luke Cage or the Avengers and whatever. So
That would work. I would like.
give me that. That would be nice.
Yeah. So that was pretty much the Sony conference,
Mm.
which was I'm gonna say it like every year. I think they killed it.
I think they did pretty well. There was more games here that I was interested for in a lot of the other ones. Now, admittedly, a lot of these were sequels, and a lot of them were kind of like new spins on old ideas.
We're very much in sequel remake area. This
Yeah,
year.
so like
I mean, we got Horizon Zero Dawn, which was a great new IP.
it is a new IP, but it's DLC for an IP that we've already
Yeah.
played.
I mean, well,
Mm.
Horizon Zero Dawn came out this year. I mean,
Yeah,
so-
no, that's true. There wasn't a lot here that was like, oh, here's a new like completely original IP that made me go, cool, that's exciting. A lot of it was just kind of like, well, it's more of what I like. So you got me there, but in terms of this E3, they probably had the best one, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But in terms of like every kind of E3, this wasn't that great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because of this year.
This year has been a little.
Like, I still think one of the what will go down in history as one of the biggest moments at E3
Yeah.
will be the 2015 Bethesda conference where they did the big mic drop, like, "Hey, we're making
Fallout 4, and it comes out in November. Yeah, that was
hands
Bethesda
down.
fucking ruled that shit. They
Hands down, one of the best E3
the
conferences.
problem they
ever.
ran into there was like, oh shit, we have to do this every year, and you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
They did the one like, yeah, we did a good job. They're like, oh shit, we have to do one
do
every
this
year
again.
now. We're one studio. We don't have that many announcements.
We've got like a lot of spinning plates, but you already know what those spinning plates are. Fuck.
Yeah, and this year in their conference, they were very much. They said that everything they announced comes out this year. I'm like, I like that. That's a good idea.
That's good.
I mean, it makes your conference a little bit more boring. I mean, because I think we all know by this point that Elder Scrolls 6, it's in development.
Yeah, but I don't think
And
it's
they also
happening
have this
for a
new
while.
IP in development as well.
Mm.
Like, I'm pretty sure we all know they're in development. They haven't really
In
said
the next
anything.
couple of years, we're going to hear some more about those things. But at this point, we're just kind of like, oh, I guess maybe. Probably.
Yeah.
So Nintendo, let's end here.
Yeah, Nintendo never really have a big E3 conference. They kind of don't care.
No. I've seen a little bit of Mario Odyssey, and
It looks fun.
from someone who doesn't give two rat fucks about Nintendo or Mario, it looks pretty creative and interesting.
I'll
say that.
Right. It does.
Like, they got this skeptic looking at it and going like, there's a lot of creative ideas you're mucking about with there.
Mario 64 was one of the first games I ever played.
Mm.
I loved it.
It seems
And
to very much
I've
have
always
kinda-
said they need to make, like, not a sequel, but like a spiritual successor to Mario 64.
this does like that kind of that escalation of like Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey.
It definitely feels like a spiritual successor to Mario 64.
Mm.
So that's what I like about
So
them.
if I had a Switch, I'd probably get that. It
I'm-
looks
Man, I'm
fucking
thinking
crazy.
about getting a Switch. I've been thinking about it from the start because they got Breath of the Wild. It looks real good.
Breath of the Wild's apparently real good. That's getting DLC.
Yeah.
They're bringing Rocket League to the Switch, which
And you know I'm all about that life, fam.
I know you're about that life. You almost won that competition at PAX. You're almost. You're almost there. And the other thing that is kind of pushing me, like, well, maybe it'll be a good idea. Pokemon in talks. I don't think we really got like a trailer.
No,
They got an
the
announcement.
head of Nintendo announced that they're making a Pokemon RPG for the Switch.
Which about fucking time.
Yeah,
pieces of shit. What has taken you so long?
But like since the first
I'm
Pokemon
sorry I
games,
just
we were like,
insulted you. Please don't stop working on the game.
we've been telling you since you first released Pokemon that there needs to be this on the console.
Especially since like the Switch is also like that
A
kind of
handheld.
portable thing.
Yeah.
It is a handheld as well.
Do it.
Do it. Fucking make
Do
it.
I feel like
Mm.
it's gonna sound bad to say, but remember like a year and a half ago, the
Mm.
CEO of Nintendo died and someone else took over.
Yeah.
I feel like it's this new guy that's making all these good decisions, like the Switch and everything. I feel bad saying it, but I feel like it's this new CEO that's making all these good decisions, that's pushing Nintendo to the forefront. Because the Switch is
It's killing
selling as good as the Wii did, and the
Mm.
Wii is one of the top-selling consoles of all time,
it.
which is weird to say, but it's true.
It's which
Well, if you think
and then the
that's
Wii U was like one of the worst.
yeah, see, because the Wii,
Mm.
it was a new idea at the time,
Mm.
and it's like
It was more accessible than these other
it's
games.
a family thing. Like if you talk
Yeah.
to gamers like us, like, oh yeah, with PS4, Xbox,
It's all about graphics and fucking how many frames per second is it? Well, like
yeah, but that's
other
the thing.
like, is it fun though? It's like
Almost every
do you
household you go in though has a Wii.
mm.
Like we have a Wii.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is on the floor. And I'm like, it hasn't been played in forever.
But it's
like
there.
most households that have a Wii.
Mm.
And sometimes you look in someone's TV cabinet and they have one of those fucking Wii Fits stacked in right at the back corner.
Right at the back.
Every household has a Wii.
Bloody Axis of Awesome have that song, Where Are You Wii Fit? This one guy in Tasmania who still uses you. It's a good song.
So yeah, Nintendo Wii, everyone has one. So Nintendo Switch is selling really well.
Yeah,
'Cause it's a new idea, and they
I really like the idea of Pokemon RPG, especially I don't usually go in for like online kind of gameplay, but yeah, it needs to be online. You need to be like kind of in like this big world where it's not like you're going to be the Pokemon master. You are one of the many Pokemon trailers. So you get to be that weird kid on the side of the road. It's like, I like bugs. Finally, you get to live your dream and be Bug Boy.
Aiden, you know I'm going to be the guy with 6 magic ups.
For sure.
But
I'm
one
gonna-
day I'll have 6 Gyarados and who will be fucking laughing?
And I'll be that weird kid who hangs out in the grass with like 6 Rattatas. Like, I am the Rat King!
Youngster
Rat
Aiden.
King!
Youngster Aiden.
Youngster Aiden with his Rat King, all his Rattatas.
And
shit
one
in a pile
Raticate.
and get their tails stuck together. Have you heard about a Rat King? Do you know what a Rat King is? I'm not sure. It's like an urban myth about in like sewers where like rats will get into like a nest shit. Their tails get stuck together, and they're all stuck together, and that's a Rat King.
Fuck. You Rat King of Rattata. Woo! Go Rat King. Is that like a mega evolution? Is that a new
throwing up?
Is that a mega evolution?
Yes.
Technically.
I put all the Rattatas in the same Pokeball, and they shit themselves together.
I think this is animal cruelty.
It's all animal cruelty. You're asking a bunch of animals who did nothing wrong to fight each other.
But they
Pokemon's
enjoy
fucked.
fighting each other.
Do they? Are we projecting?
Pikachu enjoys it.
Pikachu's a little fucked up though. Like I ain't living in no Pokeball. Just make me kill that other Pokemon. Are you sure? Yeah, motherfucker, I'm in charge now. I control the weather. I'm Pikachu.
Okay, let's stop getting into like the fucking
The weird underbelly of
weird
Pokemon.
underbelly of Pokemon.
So E3, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah. Oh, Nintendo also have a Kirby game.
Oh, I don't care.
I care. I enjoyed Kirby on the Nintendo 64.
I enjoyed Kirby as a character in Super Smash Brothers. That's about it.
I enjoyed the Kirby game on the 64. Was that chicken?
That's my Kirby noise. I don't know what sound does Kirby make? It's all just sucking noises, right?
Name of your sex tape. It's all just sucking noises.
Wink. So that was E3.
Yes, that was E3 2017.
Do you want to thumbs up, thumbs down on this year's E3?
Kind of like to the side, but
Thumbs to the side?
slightly up.
I'm giving this a thumbs down, slight uptick, because Spider-Man.
So you think it was like that bad?
I don't think it was bad. I just don't think it was interesting. Like, this was kind of like a nothing year.
It was very sequel and remake.
Yeah, all the things that like I saw that I was excited about was just more information
See, it's not
about games I already knew were
See,
happening.
it's not that there was bad trailers.
Mm.
It's just that there were good trailers for games we already knew was happening.
Mm.
Like, I'm glad we got to see more of these games, but
Yeah.
I would have liked a big new announcement of a big new game.
Yeah, there wasn't like any new IP that was like super interesting, because I feel like there's probably some of it out there, but it's all like indie dev titles that are going to be on Steam, which like I want like a new, like a really interesting AAA game. Is that too much to ask for? Probably, but please.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably some in development.
Also, we didn't hear anything about a new Batman game, which there was a bunch of rumors about that, so I guess that's not getting announced
no
yet.
Last of Us 2.
No Last of
no
Us
Red
2,
Dead Redemption
No
2.
Red Dead Redemption. It was just
no new IP from Bethesda.
No, so it was
No new Elder Scrolls. Apparently 4K or whoever owns 4K now working on a new BioShock. Nothing about that.
Didn't hear anything about that. So yeah, it was the things that I got excited about were things I already knew was happening. Like I already knew there's going to be a Spider-Man game. It's just more gameplay from that.
Yeah.
I already knew there was going to be a God of War where it's like all Vikings and shit. It's just more gameplay from that.
So these are announcements we got last year. I feel like this year, especially for Sony, it's just building on last year's announcements.
So yeah,
I guess there was more Destiny 2, but we already knew that was happening.
I already knew that was happening. We already
They
seen a bunch of trailers.
I feel like they could have waited to announce Destiny 2 here.
Mm.
Like, oh, Destiny 2's coming out. Oh, that's coming out in September. That would have been a Bethesda moment.
Bored.
Yeah.
Already knew it. So yeah, thumbs down from me. All right, recommendations. What are you up to?
been playing The Witcher.
Oh yeah,
Real fun.
it's real fun.
And that card game that's in it, Gwent, also real fun.
Care for a game of Gwent?
That's pretty much what you say to people. Hankering
Okay.
for some cards. He literally says that. Hankering for some cards.
Your character or the guy who's
My character.
he's
Hankering for a game of cards.
this badass monster killer is hankering for a game of cards.
Pretty much.
What a nerd! What I bet he reads books as well. What a nerd!
What a nerd. What are you going to do? Read a book?
Read a book? Books are for nerds, nerd.
Yeah, but everyone in this world plays this game. Like, almost every blacksmith, armorer, or merchant will play a game of cards with you.
What a bunch of fucking nerds. I've been watching Orange is the New Black. I'm about 10 or so episodes into that. I'm digging it. It's a good season.
Very nice.
Enjoying it. I haven't been doing much else. Been playing some Injustice. I got all of Wonder Woman's movie armor. So that was...
You tried very hard for that.
tried very hard to get that. I got it.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, we also watched... Oh, you watched half of the Nick Kroll and John Mulaney thing.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched about half of that.
I watched all of it.
It seemed fine. I just had to go to bed. That's all.
It was very Jewy.
It did seem. I don't know if that's like anti-Semitic, but like it was extremely Jewy.
And like everything Jewish comedy is, it was.
Oh, hello.
They had a segment called Too Much Tuna. They had Steve Martin. They were doing a fake interview with Steve Martin.
Wow.
And they brought down a tuna sandwich, which was like 30 centimeters big.
Jesus.
Tuna. And then they had it there for like a minute while they tried to coerce him into saying the sentence, "That's too much tuna."
Well, maybe I'll finish that, and I'll finish watching that. But yeah,
It's a fun time.
It seemed very like, oh, this is very New York Jew Broadway kind of comedy scene, which is fine. It seemed like they were doing it well, but like if that's not your thing, forward. But you should be able to tell by seeing Nick Kroll and the words "Oh, hello," and be like, oh, it's not for me.
And John Mulaney, I really like John Mulaney's comedy.
If you don't like a bunch of weird comedians in old man makeup going, Broadway, here's the tropes of Broadway. We're going to make fun of them. I don't know what the tropes of Broadway are. You're in the wrong fucking place then.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, what else we watched? We watched Headshot.
Oh, yeah, we did watch Headshot. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't
kick punchy.
It was very kick punchy. It wasn't as good as the Raid films, but it had some pretty brutal action sequences.
Yeah, it was fucked a little bit.
I'm glad I watched it. I do love watching like a well shot fight because
I love a well choreographed fight sequence.
So good, and they had some pretty well choreographed and well shot fight scenes in that movie. So I'd say if you like the Raid and want a little bit of a taste, give it a watch.
Give it a
It's on
watch.
Netflix. It's a good time.
Oh, and with Jesse, I watched Seven for the first time.
How was that?
Oh,
Hey Brett.
a little bit far.
Hey Brett. What's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
I finally get that reference.
You finally know what's in the box.
finally
What's
know
in the box? In the box. What's in the box today? It is Gwyneth Paltrow's head. What's in the box today? Yeah, Gwyneth
So
Paltrow's head.
fucked up when you think of it in regards to that television show. I remember whenever What's in the Box theme song came on, I knew it was time to leave and walk to the bus.
Yeah.
Because it was exactly then when Cheese TV finished and What's in the Box started. I'm like, okay, got it.
All
Turn
right,
this
gotta
off
go to
and
school
go
now.
to school.
All right, Dragon Ball Z's over. Better go to school. All right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is over. Better go to school.
Pokemon's over.
All right, there's no more Bakugan. Better go to school.
There's no more fucking X-Men. Better go to school.
There's no more of whatever that thing where it was like little hamster-shaped cars that ran in a stadium of that. Better go to school.
No more Winx Club. Better go to school.
No more Totally Spies. Better go to school.
No more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Better go to school.
No more Pokemon. Better go to school.
I already said that. You lose.
Fuck! Dang it! I guess I gotta go to school now. So, what did you think of E3? Let us know. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/PCMR podcast, or also on Twitter at PCMR Podcast. We have our own personal Twitter accounts. I'm at Aiden's Vlog, AIDANSVLOG.
I am at Meman125, spelled how it sounds.
Yes, we have an email address, PCMRpodcast@gmail.com. We have a website, PCMRpodcast.net. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes. That's it. Those are the things.
That's where we are.
That's where we are. We'll see you there. Next
Pals.
week, we'll be talking about something else.
Something or other.
Something or other. There'll be something
That'll
that's
be
come out.
something.
I don't care anymore. Something will happen. We'll talk about it.
We'll decide by the day.
Yeah. We'll see what's released next Thursday. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll watch that. Maybe we'll talk about news. I'm sure there'll be some news.
Yeah.
There's always news. All right, bye.
Bye.